And we are here with Luke Cummo, Ultimate Fighter and Tough Season 2 contestant. Made it all the way to the finals. And I really appreciate you coming on, Luke.
Well, James, I look at it like a sparring match.
Yeah.
You know, um, I know that you're trying to get something out of me,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not so much like that. I just would.
and as my comeback, because we're sparring, right?
Yeah.
Um, I know you're coming at me because I'm the low hanging fruit, washed up ex UFC,
That's your wording, not mine.
but that's how I get people because they underestimated me. I'm gonna get you, James. Teach you a lesson.
Yeah, well, look, like I said, that's your
That's why
terminology, not
I
mine,
call
brother.
myself Master
Why,
Lukey.
why I reached out to you is because you always seem like a nice guy and you seem personable, so that's why I reached out to you.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it is a sparring match, and I know that our relationship, is new.
yes,
But
sir.
if I come at you a little bit, maybe it'll be like the McGregor factor and get more views. People want to see me again instead of from just a boring interview.
Yeah, well, but
Give me
like
some
I
good
said, man.
questions, bro.
All right. Well, I wanted to ask you. I seen that recently you've been training your mum, and I think that's something that's really quite lovely of you. Obviously,
W.
spe- especially as we get older, it's important. So yeah, I just thought I would start with that and just ask how all that's going.
Nice. That's a good one, man. Relevant. Current. I could tie it into Master Lukey brand. Thinking of a name. I don't even want to say it. It's so good, James.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll text you on Facebook.
It sounds good, Bella.
That's at the UFC gym,
Yeah.
and they sent me a contract to work there,
Yeah.
and there was a what do you call it? A section. First of all, I had to sign away my likeness and image forever.
Yeah.
16 $17 an hour minimum wage in New York.
Yeah.
Minimum wage. They're gonna own me. And then it came down to I was gonna do it. I was still gonna actually work there
Yeah.
for minimum wage, and then they could do whatever they want. Advertising, I'd be like the company man.
Yeah.
But then the section came to the intellectual property, and that any invention, including written work, would be owned by UFC Gym. And anything I worked on while I was there was their property.
Yeah.
So I'm writing a book. It's a two-sided book. Since you're editing, I'll just grab it real quick. You could cut it.
Yeah. No worries.
I know how the videos can take a long time to edit, so you got to cut these things out.
Oh, nice. Your own comic book, League of
It's a
Champions.
it's a training manual like you used to get for the video games.
Yep.
I can't tell you everything about it, but it's the first one. So it's MMA black belt,
Yeah.
but it's actually a white belt.
Nice.
So when you put them all together, you get the graphic novel. It's like this thick
Yeah.
because it's five ranks in my MMA system
Yep.
based on mythical beasts.
Yeah, nice. Did you want to go into each belt, like which animal goes into each belt?
Well, you asked me about my mom, so I'm gonna cut to the I'm gonna go on a different in a different folder.
Yeah, man.
This is more of what's in the book, but I'm actually working through it,
Yeah,
kind of like a R&D.
yeah.
So my mom's doing more of this here.
Nice.
So, people want to train for MMA.
Yeah,
Uh, my at my old gym, at Ray Longo's gym, uh, one of my coworkers, Sabanim Eric San Jose,
yep.
he trained a professional basketball player,
True.
famous one, professional basketball player.
Just
So my son, he does tennis. Some guys. Who's that? Eddie Hall, world's strongest man.
oh yeah,
They want to be good martial artists or good athletes, I should say, good athletes.
yeah,
Fitness, right? Oh no, sorry, physique. This is more like somebody who wants to lose weight,
yeah,
tone up. What do they call it? Body recomp.
yeah.
And then my mom, she's into long-term function, muscle mass preservation. As we age, we gotta work hard at the maintaining the muscle
Yeah, and especially bone
and
density as you get older as well.
bone density.
Yeah, because
The
as
whole body, don't think of it as a bone or a muscle,
yeah,
but these are just, keywords. It brings you into the topic of health.
yeah,
So minerals actually more important for bone density. You get a living mineral. I don't know if you're familiar with TikTok, but they had like this Celtic sea salt wave,
yeah,
and Celtic salt is now shown to be what is it? Lead, high in lead. So at the end of this book, you'll be certified
yeah,
as
yeah.
a white
Nice.
belt, and when you're a white belt, you can teach a no belt. Well, you
Yeah,
only got to be one rank higher to teach somebody who doesn't know anything
yeah,
or who knows the thing less than you. And you learn by teaching, and you get this rank by doing a fitness test. Really cool part of the book that I just figured out last night. I'm not going to go into the whole thing because it's so unique,
mm,
but just imagine Pokemon. How popular Pokemon is
yeah.
as a card game, and I have one more sheet to show you, but I pull from my my history,
Yeah,
the people I trained with. Everybody has something to teach, right?
yeah, that's it.
And I trained with some really amazing guys under them, and kept the good stuff. Just like Bruce Lee said, I know you're a fan.
Yes, sir.
Keep what's useful. Keep what's useful, and
Discard what's not.
I think something happened recently with social media, and you had this. We had this global communication of minds, with sending their videos, and I can't find the page I was bringing to do a seminar. I printed up a new one. It was kind of like all including how you can keep track of your workout, whether it's MMA or uh, fitness or BJJ or grappling.
Do you do much in the way of strength training as well, or strength building?
Yeah, so I'm gonna get into that. The global like back and forth of all the social media people posting things,
Yeah,
and just the overall raising of I don't know like intelligence because you have all this information.
Yeah.
And you have people that uh, could watch because they're very skilled already, educated, trained, like physical therapists and athletes, professional athletes, and working together. And I said physical therapists, like doctors of physiology,
Yeah.
and uh, I think I feel like there's one above a physical therapist, which is like a doctor. Anyway, through social media, they're like, just like with UFC when it first came out, people quickly realized what you needed in a real fight. And now, like, I have on this sheet the kettlebells. I had the swords because I have like a heavy sword that's it's more forearm conditioning and shoulder conditioning. But now they're saying all the exercises where you do a twisting motion is much better for your overall health, because like we were saying with the bone density, everything affects the body from a standpoint of like the environment, and that includes your behavior and your training technique.
Yeah.
So when you use more of the body the way it's supposed to, or the way that it's built, which is a unilateral pattern, you're turning one side and the other side, and then like when you're running, the legs are doing the opposite.
Yeah.
So like what I'm working with my mom is a move that I saw on Instagram, and because I have the history, 25 years in 20, 30 years in martial arts and 25 years in training, like training people.
Yeah.
So I started like as an amateur trainer
So
in Muay Thai, basically holding pads, running workouts as
yeah.
a profession.
Yeah.
I did that, and then I've been doing that, teaching people, teaching classes, group seminars, and just doing my own training, trying to stay fit. I'm not going to be big muscular from strength training because I'm vegetarian. I'm more of a an endurance and
Yeah.
thinking athlete.
Yeah.
Like for example, with my league of MMA, I call it the League of Champions.
Yeah.
There's no head contact. So like if you think about it, how if you're thinking of martial arts for self-defense, why would you go into a cage where somebody's going to hit your head,
Yeah.
could possibly kill you, possibly kill you guys? And if I could, segue off of my mom just for 1 sec, because
Yeah, man.
i did I did see her, the exercise program that she does on Instagram, like I said. And I'll give credit to Functional Patterns. I think you have to tag them.
Yeah.
Just say, that I can't afford to get certified.
Yeah.
I do have a nonprofit corporation called Master Lukey Incorporated. So if you want to train me, I could post your stuff doing it right instead of the way that I'm probably not doing it 100% right. I don't think it's gonna hurt her, because what he says, functional patterns guy. Shout out to Naughty. His name is Naughty Aguilar, and he's a revolutionary in exercise. A lot of it is this idea here. And the traditional lifts, bench, squat, and deadlift,
Yeah.
they flex the body and they get strong too much in one direction.
Yeah.
And people get, according to Naughty, injured long term. And he
Overuse
helps
injuries.
people through his system who get better results than traditional physical therapy, because he's incorporating the whole body as one,
Yeah.
and it's stimulating an overall health where the fascia is communicating, because you have this connective tissue that's, it's not like a muscle here. The fascia is not, there's nowhere that the fascia isn't.
Mm.
So the body communicates to itself holistically, and obviously that resonates with me because of my health, natural healing background. My mom's been getting better at it. The exercise we did, she's stepping and bringing the ball over her head and slamming it on the front leg as
Mm.
she steps. So you step and you got a medicine ball, and it comes over and you slam.
Mm.
So it's a very athletic maneuver. And she started taking her shoes off to get the foot splay,
Yeah.
and actually did much better. She, like, at first she would go to slam it, and she like had to catch herself with her feet.
Yeah.
Now she's not perfect, but when she slams it, she's like boom, solid stance, and that's balance.
Yeah. building that
which
core
is key.
strength.
We haven't moved into the Turkish get up yet, though. Or kettlebell one. I don't know. It might take a while
Yeah,
because it's like they want to be able to be strong to get up. If
yeah,
you fall down, it's like you're gonna learn how to do a break fall, hopefully. But I injured my shoulder doing a break fall. It's hard to break that habit. It's like you don't want to you have to train it out of you.
yeah,
So that particular move we're gonna move on from eventually, but the medicine ball and the kettlebell and the sledgehammer, or there's just the hammer. They got one that's like a short handle
yeah,
hammer. The the heavy sword. They're strength building tools. They're heavy, so it's considered weightlifting.
yeah. Nice.
And when you do fighting, your movements are not one big one, so it's not mass. You have to be able to endure 5 minutes of dynamic strength.
Yeah,
So it's like moving the kettlebell constantly, swinging the heavy sword constantly, swinging the hammer. Functional patterns uses cable work. And my real health coach, Raining Horse, shout out to Thomas, call him T Rain, Tommy the Train. He told me that you have to have an exercise where your foot is the point of balance. When you use the cable, you're pulling in off of the cable machine.
yeah.
So he doesn't like the cable. He likes the stuff that when you lift it, it's your feet that are like anchored you into the ground.
So like a deadlift and squat, or
You could
more.
do he does the deadlift with the kettlebells, he does the squat with the kettlebells, yeah.
Yep.
But and he even uses barbells, so
Yeah.
my mom might have been a little turned off by the barbells, but these days she would probably look forward to it. I
Yeah.
tell you, it's something that was not taught, it wasn't popular in the older generation, but our generation is into it. The next generation, it's like a whole culture.
Yeah.
So it's a
Definitely.
thing about it that I had the faith, and I'm trying to get my dad into it too. We did 2 sessions so far,
Yeah.
and he actually asked me about the second one. So I know that like once somebody gets into it, they feel the benefits. I'm not the first person to say that,
Definitely.
So, but it's just good to see. Like even if you're not, even if um, you're expecting it, or I should say, even if I'm not surprised, like I tell people with the natural healing,
Yeah.
they tell me, they go, "Oh my God, I feel so much better. This condition, that condition went away." Blah blah blah. I go, you know what? I'm not surprised, but I
Yeah.
tell you what, it's great to hear.
Nah. Definitely.
It's great news, man.
And so I thought I'd mention about. So your mum got you into Bruce Lee movies, right? And that's what sort of
Oh
it
yeah.
spiraled from there. So I just thought I'd touch on that because I'm a huge Bruce Lee
Mm.
fan as well. And my grandfather, he's the one that got me into it. Cause I was,
What?
yeah, cause when I was little, like I'm talking like 5, 6 years old, I was like big into Ninja Turtles and stuff, and then he showed me this. He's like, this is the greatest martial artist that ever lived, and then he bought me
Oh yeah.
a box set and it had all the movies he did with Golden Harvest, and
Yo,
like I used to just watch them on repeat. So that's what got me
the
into it.
big boss,
Yeah, all of them. Fist of Fury,
Return of the
yeah,
Dragon.
all them. Yeah. So yeah, I just thought I'd ask
What was
you
after
about that.
that?
So you had Big Boss,
Did I
Fist of
say it wrong?
Fury, Way the Dragon with Chuck Norris, and then you
I
had.
thought that was Return of the Dragon.
Well, see, that's the thing though. That it's got a different name depending on what part of the
Hmm.
world you live in. You know what I mean? So I think it has a different name, maybe over where you are. But yeah, it was Way the Dragon in Australia. Then you had Game of Death, and then Game of Death 2, which was just little bit of edited bits and pieces that they had laying around. They sort of amalgamated a movie, and then obviously
This
Enter the Dragon, which is his cornerstone movie.
That's what was in your box set. Those movies.
Yeah, I had all of them, and outside of Enter the Dragon. I didn't get that straight away, but I just had the box
Oh
set of
man,
all the all the Golden Harvest
they
ones.
they snuck in the Game of Death 2 on you, the bootleg.
Yeah, you
Uh,
ever see that one?
let me ask you this:
Yeah,
being a Bruce Lee fan,
yeah.
do you know the best movie is Way of the Warrior,
Way of the Warrior.
the
I lo-
documentary about the missing footage?
from the Game of Death movie,
Oh yeah.
where I did hear about. I think I've seen extra footage that they found later on, and it was supposed to be um, like he goes up each level, and then each level they have different styles, and then when he gets to Kareem at the top, he's the style of no style, and then it's him defeating each of them styles. And then if I remember, they had his family or his daughter or something captured. Apparently that was
Bruce Lee,
supposed to
Way
be.
of the Warrior.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, true.
Is the whole movie? Oh my God.
Oh wait, this is something else.
Oh.
Because they got a movie, the same name. I might be thinking of the wrong name. Way of the Warrior. Bruce Lee, Way of the Warrior, missing footage. A Warrior's Journey. My bad. Warrior's Journey.
Yeah.
You know that one?
I mean, there's every chance I might have seen it, but if I'm being
I'll
honest,
send you the link.
yeah, sweet as.
So, I mean, we could talk for hours about Bruce. I wrote a report on him for college, you know.
Oh, true.
But that's cool that your grandpa hooked you up.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah, definitely. I was lucky enough.
Bruce was worldwide.
Yeah. I mean,
You know, I had to, huh?
well, I was just gonna say, like he inspired so many legends that come after him, like Anderson Silva and Bass Root, and like so many guys that have said, "Hey, I got into martial arts yourself because of Bruce Lee and his legacy." Basically, that is so. Not only is his legacy his filmography, but his legacy is bridging that gap between the West and the East. Inspiring future martial arts champions, and like then these other people like Anderson and all that, they're going to inspire other people, so it's just that snowballing effect that that's his legacy. That's an amazing accomplishment, from for one man to achieve such a thing.
Oh, I have a dream. I have a dream of a no head contact league
You're a League of Champions.
by Master Lukey.
Yeah, man. So how's that going?
My body can't do it though. I'm
Yeah,
so fragile at this point. The injury was in my early 40s. Um, because I'm an all natural athlete, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. But it's a sport. It's a young man's game, and people are all natural. They say they're all natural.
yeah,
I'm really all natural. I don't even take supplements, bro.
yeah,
I have a strict menu. I do cleansing. I do this whole natural healing program, which I'm all in on. That's my full certification.
yeah,
And I wrote my book to be two-sided. So on the one side, you have the MMA,
yeah,
and on the other side, you have the menu.
yeah. Nice. For
So,
like,
like, I tell people because they ask me, you have a lot of you have a lot of information out there that people like, trying to sell something, or it's like pushing an agenda. People say even vegetarian is an agenda because they want you to eat bugs or GMO soybeans by Bill Gates or something. My menu is organic. It's, you know, not produced, not processed at all, except in a blender,
Mm.
dehydrate stuff, candy and stuff like that. Healthy, healthy candy made with coconut palm sugar and ginger and sea moss. One of the recipes I'm working on. The book has 50 something recipes, and each chapter has a different theme. So, like, there's sauces, there's a sauerkraut, there's chips, and desserts. There's bread, healthy bread. And I tell people because it's so out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
And I go, well, look, I'm an MMA guy. You know what people go through to do MMA. You only see the result in the cage, and the camera only goes on the winner.
Yeah.
They don't follow the other guy, how hurt he is, what what's the aftermath, and in that regard, I understand why guys juice.
Yeah.
They're athletes. They want to perform. I don't think a human is born necessarily evil that they want to hurt each other, but in the context of a sport, it's like that's the whole point.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, it's hard to get around that. My system is based on points.
Yeah.
So you get a score from 1 to 100, and the sparring match goes for the whole 5 minutes. There's no rounds. It's one match,
Mm.
and there's no finishing. So if me and you are sparring, or if two guys are sparring and they're both fighters, but they're getting ready for a fight, they're not going to want to get injured.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to spar at a level, which is hard sparring because they got to get ready for a fight, but not hard enough where they're going to be injured.
Yeah.
So there's a way to do it, I think,
You know.
but it's it's something that's so new. Like I was saying, it's so out there.
Yeah.
Um, it's people have a lot of questions, and I just I'm a bit of faith forward that what came to me as a vision, it makes sense because what UFC did to get sanctioned was they went through the boxing commission. They instituted no biting, no headbutts, no groin strikes, no eye gouges, hair pulling. There used to be no downward. There's certain regulations that they instituted to become a sport.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is instituting more regulations. So it's making it more of a sport, just like they did with Taekwondo. They put on pads and they got a point system. This just like they did with pancration, which I think is crazy. Out in California, they got kids knocking each other out with body shots
Mm.
in the pancration, but to make it safe for kids, they took out headshots. So it's all about instituting safety regulations,
Yeah.
and in that regard, it's a scientific what I did, you know, geo- um, sacred geometry. But for my menu, um, people have a lot of questions. So what I say is that as an athlete, as somebody who understands why people juice because you're fighting for your life in there,
Mm.
and it's better me than him.
Mm.
I turned it into a game, so I'm just trying to outscore you. I'm not trying to hurt you. And I always looked at it as kind of a puzzle to solve, even when I was in the UFC.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the creativity of figuring people out,
Yeah.
their timing and the openings. And I only had 13 fights, but I had found a home for my right. I was a thrower. In baseball, growing up, so I had a strong right hand. So I found that on a couple of guys. But as somebody who knows that feeling when somebody's elbowing you in the head,
Yeah.
it's not a fucking game.
No, definitely
That's
not.
not a sport. Getting
Definitely.
elbowed in the head is not a sport anybody should participate in. But don't you think, knowing that, I would do what I feel is the best for my machine, for myself as an athlete? I'm not just doing things because I care about animals. I care about me surviving.
Mm.
I care about me performing in a fight, which is for my survival.
Yeah, definitely.
Because take away the judge, take away the ref, take away the doctor, that guy's going to be elbowing a bloody pool in a little while, a bloody puddle with bone chunks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the feeling I got. Last time I went out to the cage, I heard the crowd, and it was not cheering for me. It was cheering for the spectacle. They weren't booing me. They weren't cheering for me. They just wanted to see the action, hopefully, the action. Some people say they want to see the gore or the blood. I think what I'm doing is for martial arts purists
Mm.
who want to see technique,
Mm.
who aren't interested in the drama so much. I mean, it's exciting. You get to like your favorite fighter and stuff, but there's a lot of things that you can watch. You choose to watch fighting because of, I think, because of the action, because of the technique, because it's real true. There's no ball.
No,
There's no goal line.
well,
You could say octagon control, but you get what I'm saying.
definitely. I would say it's the first sport. I mean, you got to think about it, right? Like if you think of human history before there were balls or before anything, uh, that'd be the first competition. The real first competition is like two men squaring off, and for their survival, and the risk to reward of competing in martial arts, especially in MMA. Like, I mean, if you lose a game of basketball, yeah, it sucks. But if you get knocked out, or if you get your arm broken or something, like, it's just something really primal about it, and just the the risk of it. You know what I mean? It's really action packed, especially with MMA. Like boxing, I love boxing, but sometimes with boxing, well, a lot of times you can kind of tell one guy after a few rounds, he sort of is got the momentum going his way, and you can see where the fight's going. With MMA, like things can just happen at a drop of a hat, much more,
Hmm.
because there's so many more things going on. And like you were saying about like types of fans, obviously you have that one meathead type of fan that just wants to see gore, and unless someone's all busted up, they don't care. But then you have, like you said, the martial arts purists, the guys that want to see the technique. They love the art of martial arts. The true battle between two real professionals. Like, because you guys, are trained killers, and at the peak of your fighting ability. Like, it's something to behold when you see two of the best guys in the world. That's
Scary.
how I see it. Yeah, definitely very scary. Some of them for sure. So yeah. So you got into Bruce Lee movies, and how did you transition from there to looking for a martial arts school? You went to a kung fu school or something. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah, I want to say Yellow Pages, but you might not know what that was. It was a book like this thick
Yeah, I know.
with all the telephone numbers of the
I'm not that
businesses.
far off your age, brother.
I don't even remember how I found out that Bruce Lee was a kung fu guy. I might have looked on the computer at school or something. We're talking 1995.
Yeah.
Ended up at the kung fu school. My mom, I started wanting to get dropped off earlier and earlier. Like I showed up 3 hours early for my class, and the guy had to say something to me. Not the Sifu, but the Si Hing, who was kind of like running the front desk. He's like, you can't come this early.
Yeah.
But they upgraded me to the black belt program quick because I caught on, especially in the sparring. We had the foam injected sparring gear,
Yeah.
doing doing kung fu no rules. So
So you were
we
like doing
watched.
MMA.
we we had grappling in the southern style.
Yeah.
There is grappling in kung fu. They don't focus on it unless you go doing like shui
Yeah.
shui. I think it's called shui chow. Um, And so I really love the sparring. We used to get videotapes back then of the UFC,
Mm.
hoping for Jason DeLuca, the kung fu guy, to win.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember him. Like earlier, he
I
fought
love
Hoist
the
Gracie in that, didn't he?
yes.
Yeah, yeah. I remember him.
I love this the style of the one night tournament. And I started to do that with my league because you're doing a 5 minute match and
Yeah,
you're not injured. Hopefully, it's still a contact sport. Way less chance. But you can have a round robin tournament, which I had a bunch of, where you have four guys and they each fight each other once. So each guy gets three matches
yeah,
of 5 minutes each, one with each guy. And with my 100 point scoring system, they each had a score, which we then calculated to apply to a percentage of the prize pot.
mm.
So everybody got paid out of the prize pot based on their score. And so I really resonated and still do with Bruce Lee's philosophy of having what he called no way as way.
Yeah. No limitation is
Don't be
limitation.
bound. Amen.
Yeah.
And there was another one that's shorter. That's two sentences. There was one, not the intercepting fist, but anyway, the creativity of how he used martial arts to express himself.
Yeah.
And uh, I grew up on cartoons, Transformers and He-Man and G.I. Joe was my big one.
Yeah.
And then still to this day, Marvel, the
Mm.
whole Marvel universe is incredible.
Mm.
And so I've been very influenced by that, I don't want to say fantasy because that's like a subgenre, but I'll just show you a design that I made today if you got a second.
Yeah, definitely.
This is using an AI program called Midjourney.
Yeah.
You heard of
Yeah.
Midjourney?
I have heard of it. Yeah. I haven't used it, but I have heard of it. I've seen a lot of people do some cool things with it.
Go install updates.
I'll just ask you why this is updating. When you said you picked it up pretty quickly when you were
Mhm.
doing the kung fu and all that,
Oh yeah.
would you say that that's because you had a lot of natural talent, or just because you were very driven?
I tell you what, Bruce Lee, I joke around sometimes. I go, Bruce Lee left a great message for us in his movies. I say Bruce Lee was my first martial arts teacher.
Mm.
So I used to see. I used to watch the movies and then use his moves in the sparring against the other kung fu students.
Yeah.
How's that? I
Well,
used to use the combos that he used on Chuck Norris. I used to use it in my kung fu school,
yeah. Oh, that's cool, man.
and they worked, bro.
Yeah, nice.
They worked really good.
Yeah.
Bruce Lee, they don't like to give him a lot of credit because he's an actor,
I think that's a
and they
modern
go, "Oh
thing.
yeah, he wasn't a real fighter. Bruce
Yeah.
Lee was an actor." Um, my uncle's picking me up, by the way, so we're gonna do one more question after this, and I don't mean to cut it short, but
Yeah, all good, mate.
maybe we could do it again if you like it,
Yeah, for
if you
sure.
get a
That.
good response. I'm still in the game. I had to
Yeah.
take a different role
Yeah.
as a fighter. I came up with this. It's in the book, and I can't tell you the whole system because it's revolutionary. But that picture I just showed you, I'll give you a hint. Already kind of did about just think of Pokemon, what that actually is. But um, Bruce Lee he gives, and people like what you're saying is people, they, when you have somebody who's a revolutionary, or I don't know, they just don't stick to societal norms, or they're courageous, or in Bruce Lee's case, you know, he shared all that he could with us. It gives other people the um the courage also,
Mm.
and the up and comers. I'm still hoping, even though I haven't yet branched out to make Master Lukey's League of Champions a worldwide thing. I'm still hoping to connect with even people that are, you know, maybe one person here, one person there. Some people message me. They go, "Oh, as a fan, because you were the underdog, do you have any advice for somebody who's starting out as a fighter? I want to become a fighter like you." It's like they're, you know, a teenager or something.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, you know, think of it as a metaphor. You don't want to get hit in the head, because we don't have to go into the science of it. That's in my book too. There's movies on it.
Mm.
I'm going to the Cleveland Clinic in Las Vegas 2 months to be a part of the study, long term effects, because my symptoms of TBI are mild,
Mm.
depression, anxiety, but I noticed that when I went through andropause, they got worse. Now, you know, like I said, in the industry, a lot of guys are on juice. They go, "Oh, you depressed? Go on TRT."
Yeah.
I'm all in on the natural healing, James.
Mm.
I'm not gonna do TRT. I'm not gonna be big and muscular. More, in my opinion, suited for uh, MMA, because I don't want to be big and strong.
No, fair
I
enough.
want to be durable. I want to be agile.
Yeah.
I want to be like, what is it when when you could fall down good, you could do a good break fall and not get hurt. It's like uh, it's a technique. They call it kazushi.
Oh, when they slam
When
down
somebody
when
takes
you're falling.
when
Yeah.
somebody takes you down,
Yeah.
when somebody takes you down, you actually fall in a way where you're in a better position.
Yeah.
If you
But
could off balance them,
yeah. When you're
it has to
saying
do with
about
durability
when you're saying about big and
and strategy.
yeah. When you were saying about big and strong, you can be quite a strong man and not be overly muscular, depending on how you weight train as well. Like, because your genetics, you know, you're a taller, more long guy. You could be. Oh no, I'd imagine you are strong. You got big, thick forearms. You got big hands. I mean, you could pull a big deadlift and not be a big guy. You know what I mean? There's plenty of guys out there that are quite strong, but they're not massive. You know. It's all
Well,
like
I'm
in
thinking
the rep ranges.
strategically.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more strategically, because it's a 5 minute match.
Yeah.
Now, I won't be able to deadlift for 5 minutes. So you could deadlift for 5 minutes, and you can do a bunch of things for 5 minutes. And also, I want to be able to work with everybody. So I want to be durable enough to work with a professional fighter,
Yeah.
but gentle and weak enough to work with an up and coming, you know, like kid in his teens, a big kid for his teens. Like I can't spar with a kid,
Yeah.
but I can spar with a female
Yeah.
my size, teach self defense. You know, I also want to be able to to work with law enforcement, because one of the things that we got from jujitsu was that you have to have a martial art where you're sparring at full force.
Mm.
Like you can't do point karate and then expect that to work in MMA, because you're pulling your punches constantly. You can lose in point karate for hitting too hard.
Mm.
You know, that's why I teach people, when you're hitting the punching bag, when you're doing the hand pads, when you're shadow boxing, never go light. Don't do the shadow boxing where guys are like going light and they're warming up like this. Every rep you do is training you,
Yeah.
and you want every rep to be the same, which
Yeah.
is the way that you're going to perform it, the way that you want to perform it. So what you do is, instead of shadow boxing to warm up, you do different type of warm ups, and then you shadow box full force like you're fighting.
Yeah.
And that's your free tip for the day from Master Lukey.
Much appreciated, brother. Well, I know you're in
You
a
want to shoot
roster.
one quick one,
Yeah, man.
and we'll send because my uncle didn't text me that he's here yet.
All right.
So I
So
might have to run down and tell him I'll be a second. That's
yeah,
all.
no worries, man. Well, if we got one more, I'd like to ask this. So obviously, you used to train with Matt Serra and Ray Longo and all them guys. What was it like when Matt Serra won the title? Because not only did he win the title, he beat an all-time great in GSP, and like when GSP, he just smoked Matt Hughes, who was the long-time champion at the time, and he's like this looked at as this unbeatable phenom, and Matt
Mm.
Serra comes up a weight division to fight him, so like it was a big
Oh my
upset,
God.
like so that must have just like how was it for you guys? How like you know what I mean? That's my question. So
Mm. Oh my God. I also won that night,
yes,
and
sir.
trained we trained together for that fight. I joke around Matt practiced that right hand on me. I think he knocked me twice. Not knocked me out, but one time he punched me, and I didn't remember the sparring. Although we finished sparring like 3 rounds, I sparred with him. I just didn't remember it.
Yeah,
And another time, the first time he hit me, um, it was in sparring at Ray's old gym, and I forgot what happened. I just remember it being really hard.
yeah,
But the second time, definitely, I remember sitting on the mats afterwards against the cage, like all sweaty. I was like, because Matt was notorious for, we called it Brazilian time.
yeah,
If sparring was at 8, he would get there after 8. He'd be drinking his energy drink. Then he had to go to the potty. Then he has to wrap his hands and warm up.
yeah,
And by the time, because I was called in as a sparring partner, I had the kind of striking that I wouldn't say mimic GSP, but GSP was more of against Matt, going to be trying to piece him up,
yeah. And he's long, like,
you know.
and so are you.
In the second fight, he figured he could actually grapple him
Yeah,
because GSP trained with, he's basically a Henzo guy through
yeah,
Danaher.
yeah. He totally transformed.
So his grappling became world class. He's
Yeah,
tried grappling with Gordon Ryan,
yeah,
top tier,
yeah,
and so I think the size because GSP I don't know, did GSP fight at 155? I think he was with
no,
the muscle that he had on his frame. He was actually bigger than Matt, and it was really hard for Matt to cut to 155. He was kind of like in between 155 and 170.
yeah, yeah. Because
And
he's a
so
thick
he
guy,
could
even
have
though
been
he's
in that.
short. I was
Yeah,
just
he's really really agile and strong, man. Because he did such sports specific training,
yeah,
which is hours and hours and hours of jujitsu. His brothers and his dad all trained together.
yeah,
They would they would hang out at night and train. I mean, this guy's putting in probably a full day's work on the mats. Like 9 hours,
yeah.
8 hours every day. So
Were you
and
were you
natural
surprised?
ability.
Like, I mean, you obviously you're his training partner, and you're one of his main training partners. So
Mm.
you would know better than anyone how good he is going in. And I mean, I don't know, I don't know if you've ever trained with GSP before that, but you've obviously
Nope.
seen him. You know what I mean? You know how
Oh
good he
yeah.
is. Were you, even though
Mm.
you were obviously going for him, were you still surprised, or you kind of thought, "Hey, Matt's got a good chance"?
Oh, I mean, I can't answer this any other way, but I'll just say that uh, it's it's a time in my life that I remember the main parts um, being what it's 20 years ago, and having had a brain injury. I'm fully recovered, but it's kind of like a cloudiness.
Yeah.
What I can remember was after the fact, we celebrated in the hotel room. All the guys that were there was the tight group that trained with him. His brother, the Ray, the my first jujitsu coach, who was one of Matt's students, all the training partners that were part of the camp.
Aries.
It's my uncle.
No worries.
And I remember celebrating the room, and then because I fought that night too, I left and did my own celebration. But after that, the new gym got built. Really nice facility, which is his main gym now, still to this day in Huntington.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was good times. Good times, like in the whole atmosphere of the gym. Matt is an amazing coach. I remember him fondly. I hope to go back there as soon as I can.
Yeah.
It's a little far for me now, but there's no hard feelings on my end, and I do think of him as like an older brother.
Yeah.
But it's you know, in a good way, and not in a bad way that he could beat me up. Because when somebody's that good and they know they could just snap you in half, they like the times when I rolled with Matt, we'd train for a half an hour, and I'd be like completely just always working on the things that I needed to work on in a fight because I was going to get taken down, right? They were going to pass my guard. They're going to try to ground and pound me and choke me. So Matt would just do that to me. I'd work the moves that he showed me to escape. He'd do it to me again for like a half hour just to, as it, he would charge somebody to $500. So like a world class grappler, they're getting $500 an hour for seminars.
Yeah.
It was just that personal attention that in martial arts, as much as we hurt each other, there's like this team aspect of it, which is what I'm trying to embody with Master Lukey's League of Champions, is that when you have two people working together,
Yeah. You get
even
that
if it's
brothership.
a competition, they're pushing each other.
Definitely.
And it's not like two bulls colliding like in Muay Thai where one bull is gonna collide and get sacrificed, and the
Yeah.
other one, you only get half your success that way. I think League of Champions will get double the success. I invite you to hook up with me on any social media. If you just go to my website, if you want to plug that for me in the comments or whatever, James, I
Yeah.
appreciate, like I was joking you in the beginning,
No, no.
I'm the low hanging fruit, the washed up fighter that'll give an interview to anybody. But you're not just anybody, you're my friend, bro.
Yeah,
I'd love
I
to
do
talk to you again
a
soon,
hundred percent, and
and so we
I
could
do mean
we
it
could talk
when
about. Hmm?
I do really appreciate this, man. Like it means a lot to me. Like I'm not just saying it. Like I seen you on TV when I was younger, and to be able to sit here and talk
When he
to
was
you,
younger.
it is important to me. Well, yeah, I mean, so I'm 39 in a few months, so you were like 5 or 6 years old. So I was a teenager, but like I said,
Okay.
it does mean a lot to me, man. So I know
Yes.
you're in a rush, but I would love to do this again one time, brother.
Yeah,
And
we could do different segments if you want, call fights.
yeah, definitely.
I don't know, maybe it will help your channel having an ex
Yeah, man.
UFC guy, and
Well, look,
I still, like I said, I'm still in the game, even though I'm not getting my head banged around.
if this
I'm still
channel,
a student. I still train,
if
and
this
I like to help anybody that's watching.
definitely,
So
man.
hook up with me.
I mean, if this channel goes nowhere, it's not important to me. It's just what's important is just doing this, having chats with people, and like if it goes somewhere, that's just a byproduct of having good people on. But I would love to have you on again. Maybe we could do
Cool.
like a post-fight UFC chat.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, brother. But you have a great day, man, and much appreciated, man.
Yeah, I got a great segment for the post fight. It's like what the Gracies do,
Yeah,
the breakdown.
yeah, man, that'd be great.
I got a good eye for that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there an event this weekend coming up?
Uh, Let me double.
Probably not. I
I
didn't
don't
hear
believe
anything.
so. I don't believe so.
All right, bro. Let's stay
But
in
yeah,
touch though, for
a hundred
sure. Like, and
percent.
then as soon as you edit it, put it up. I like to check it out. It's kind of cringe me looking at myself, but
No,
I'll
no.
post it.
And yeah, if you want to plug anything before we wrap this up, where
Uh,
anyone can reach
I
you
don't know.
or
I think we touched on some good topics. The Bruce Lee is close to my heart. I kind of take it as a life philosophy. There's a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, I'm on the phone here. And don't take what somebody else says just because they're saying it, just because people have done it
Yeah.
in the past doesn't mean it's the right way to do things. Just because they do head contact doesn't mean it's even as exciting. I tell you what, try it no head contact next time with your team. You guys are sparring. If you do MMA, do no head contact. I guarantee it's going to be a more exciting match. Just watch out for the headbutts. Wear headgear anyway.
Yeah.
And
The body shots are the ones that hurt more anyway. Good
yeah, we
liver
wear
shot,
hogu, we wear
solar
elbow
packs.
pads.
Yeah.
Don't knock out your teammates, and then you always have a training partner for life.
That's it, brother. All right. Thank you again.
And I do think martial arts is a good path of personal development as a practice.
Definitely.
You know, so I'm into it, bro, and I thank you. So
Thank you.
looking forward to next time.
Take care, brother. Have a great day.
Take her easy. You
See ya.
too. Bye. Bye, James.